Yo, what's up? It's Kev with Atmosphere FC, and in today's video, I'll be interviewing Pasadena native Jesus Gonzalez. In this interview, we'll be talking about his journey through the American system, his time spent in Mexico with Tigres, his time playing under Eric Wynalda, and his time playing with the Las Vegas Lights. My guy, good to see you, dog. When I first started working on this platform, I wanted to build something that was gonna not just elevate the game of soccer, but also like rise the game of soccer in my hometown. There's a lot of talent in communities just like Pasadena, you know, so it's very important for me to just document and talk to players such as yourself who grew up in the similar system that I did, you know, to inspire the next generation from Pasadena. I've had the opportunities to play soccer teach soccer, not just play soccer in great cities, but also to coach soccer in great cities. And I've always kind of wonder why am I not fully fulfilled when it comes to the game of soccer, because I've fallen in and out of love. And what I realized since working on this podcast is that I may not be fully fulfilled yet because I'm not really coaching, I'm not really giving back to my community as much as I should be doing, so I as much as I want to coach in my city, as much as I want to start my own club in my city, my way of doing it and is through this podcast and building a platform to bring people together and just share ideas and bounce ideas about the sport. You're someone that's seen it all, you're someone that's been successful at every level, so I'm here to give you your flowers, bro, and give you your props on a wonderful, successful soccer career. And I also want to just talk to you so we can give advice to anyone that's has that dream of becoming a soccer player, anyone from the inner city, anyone from, the urban area who just has a dream and wants to use soccer to get out the hood or, get a free education or play pro just like you did, So welcome, bro. Thank you for being here.
For having me. Appreciate it.
You started, like I said, you're from Pasadena. You played Villa Park.
Villa Park, yep, that's how I started.
Man, what are your memories from Villa Park?
Just a little kid figuring out what to do on my time off. I mean, after school, we needed an activity to keep me away from home because my mom was always working.
Yeah.
So Villa Park was 2 blocks from my house. I joined one team and then fell in love with soccer. That was my first time actually playing on a team or learning what soccer is.
So many leagues, just like Villa Park, who come from the recreational center are important. Just especially to immigrant households, to immigrant. For kids like us who come from an immigrant background that, our parents were always working. Our parents couldn't take the time off to take us to practice and stuff like that. So, the importance of Villa Park is that, it's provided to us locally and, our parents can, handle their business and work their second job if they have to and, kind of just keep us off the street by playing soccer. And I feel like, not just it's a great way for us to learn the game, but it's also, if you look at all the talent throughout our generation that come from Pasadena, is elite. We've had at least 20, 30 players who are actually playing in the pros, who have gone to play out in Mexico, who've actually gone, play D1, and such as myself, you've gone on to play pro, and it all starts from a basic league like that. So it shows you that if you give access to, the community, that there's going to be kids that actually take advantage of these opportunities and slowly climb up the ladder. If you're good at Villa Park and you're from Pasadena, you're going to go on to develop to Cherif. Cherif Zein is a prophet, soccer guru, someone that, who's a pioneer of the youth development, not just in SoCal, but he has put so many people into the pros and he has developed so many people that, that have, so many people have reached the leagues or reached a D1 program because of the foundation that Cherif Zein has given us. Can you talk to us a little bit about your memory, about your experience with Cherif and the great team you guys had, man? You guys won everything, state champs, league champs, Surf Cup. So what do you remember about those days?
My first memory was showing up to practice with actually my Villa Park uniform, thinking this is my only uniform, I have to go to club. I ended up just being a tall kid to Cherif, tall, skinny kid that could kick the ball far.
Yeah.
No skills, nothing. And Cherif was like, I want you to play for my team. And I was like, okay, I would love to, something different. And then one thing that caught my attention was you got to pay for uniforms, you got to pay monthly for training, you got to pay monthly for a tournament. And that's why I cut Cherif out. I'm like, Cherif, I don't know you, you don't know me, but I'm telling you now, I can't afford it.
Yeah.
And Cherif was one of those people. Was like, he had an understanding of what it is to struggle, what it is that, some kids can play at a level, but they can't afford it. So he was like, I'll take care of you. I'm gonna get you a sponsor, which was our manager at the time. And that's how I ended up getting to know Cherif, started training with Cherif. And then from there, it took off. I mean, I knew, till this day, I tell Cherif, thank you. Thank you for believing in me. Thank you for accepting me and knowing that I have no money to pay my fees, my dues, but I'll make sure I take care of you with my dedication, my style of play, and just kind of just embrace the whole culture that he was building with, especially our team. That I feel like it was one of the best teams that he had. Obviously with you guys and the breakaway.
Obviously, if you start AYSO or at a rec league, we're gonna use like as the American player is gonna bump into a wall right away at a young age of 10 years old. That you outgrow the rec league. So if my kid or if me as a player at 10 years old want to play at a higher level, I have to go to find one of these youth clubs where I have to pay. Yeah. And I feel like that's the root of all our problems, is that there's no better system in the public schools. There's no better rec league under the MLS or US Soccer umbrella that can give the American player a better development. Cherif is someone that till this day is not a big club. He's kept it small. He's kept it under his umbrella, and he's kind of always provided opportunities for the lower income kids, the immigrant kids, because he understands that that not everyone's going to be able to. So I feel like right away, the American player bumps into that wall of having to pay. So you eliminate 50 to 80% of the talent because of simply that you can't afford, or you're not given access to the pay to play model, which is a terrible model. I feel like it's been the model for the last 25 years, and we've heard it over and over. And I've heard but this club does scholarships and this club does this, but I feel like it's still not enough. It's still not giving access to the broader audience, to the public audience. So till we fix that common problem, that easy problem of just making the sport accessible for everybody. I don't really think that it's necessary for anyone to pay for the coaching, but it's also I feel like the system, the way the system is designed, for coaches, we don't really care about development. We really care about just making money. So yeah, man, Cherif is someone that's doing it right, that continues to do it right, and it shows. He's putting results, and it goes to show you that if someone, you don't need to be the biggest club, you don't need to have the biggest field or you're the most fancy equipment. Like Cherif, we barely had lights, the field was terrible, but he was someone that knew what he was doing. He's someone that had a philosophy of being technical and putting passes together, and at a very young age, the bar was, for him, was so high, you had to work. And it wasn't just about I'm here because my parents could pay for it. It's no, you had to win your spot. And Cherif, man, like I said, he's someone that I thank to this day too. He's someone, I'm here in LA for a month. He's the first person I texted, hey, I want to see you, and I want to talk to you maybe about getting an episode. And typical Cherif, he's like, yo man, here's my schedule. I'm in Vegas for the Mexico USA final, then I'm to Ireland, then I'm to Rome. I'll be back the 20th, and I'm like, dang, he's still doing it, he's still living the dream. Soccer is a lifestyle. If you dedicate and you love this sport, you can make a living doing this, and it shows that, the love and passion that Cherif has, and it's admirable that he not just loves soccer, the sport, but he's dedicated literally the last 45 years of his life to putting, developing the best product in Southern California and putting it in the leagues, and people like yourself, people like Jazzy Zardes, Richie Mendrivar, Pablo Cruz, they've all played at a higher level and have gone through Cherif. So, that I feel like that's one thing coming from Pasadena that we got to take pride of, is that, not only do we have a sick rec league when it comes to Villa Park, but we also have Cherif, Cherif that's put people on, and he has developed, I feel like I even if, the system doesn't change, I know that if I have a child, I can put him
No,
through
yeah.
Cherif. You
I
know?
feel like one thing about Cherif is, I think his main concern is how many players I can get into another league to go play pro, go to Europe, give them scholarships. I think he was just more concerned like, I want to create memories for these kids because the money comes and goes. You see him traveling everywhere. Does he really need that money? No. But he knew a lot of these kids that had no outlet, no support system, can make it out of his club team, which he has proven a year and out. Like, I always tell him straight, like, why is it that you want to do this? And he's like, I want to see you do it. I want to see you do it. And it's like, you see him with his pictures, that's his pride and joy. Here's my memory of when he was a little kid. Jossie is a perfect example. He just won the Gold Cup. He's like, here's a picture when I used to train him. That's his pride and joy. He don't care about him making the money or this and that. He's like, this is what I did. This is what we did. Coming from, like you said, no lights, no fields. It was just whatever we could. I think that's Cherif's biggest blessing is like he had a big heart for people, young kids, to succeed without even us knowing that we were gonna make it.
It's crazy, bro, because I feel like he's taking care of the game, but the game has taken care of Cherif, you know, and the game obviously has taken care of everyone else that, you know, has been involved in his organization. So, man, we definitely got to give that man his flowers. And, you know, like I said, my goal is to document and record an episode with him because this story has to be told. You know, I have to pick his brains because, like, he's someone that has the answer, and he's someone that shows you, you know, that you don't. There's no need for us to make so much money or like to make money the number one priority. Is like, look how beautiful Cherif's resume is in the last 25 years. How many people he's put into the pros. That could be so many more coaches, so many more organizations, so many more like just rec centers, you know, than not just one. Like the only one we have to say right now from Pasadena is Cherif. Till this day, you know, as so much as Cherif is putting people into the pros, is not, you know, we need more Cherifs, and it should be. It's time for us to get on the same common page to give access to everybody. You know, everyone deserves to have the access to soccer. You know, like we have access to basketball and football, and you know, in the public schools, you know, you see the big events they do for the games in school culture, but I feel like soccer is not enough yet. We don't have nothing that implements, you know, I guess in the public schools that provides any opportunity for any of these kids. It's not a big club, but you guys won nationals. I remember Johnny Bunko, Henry Bunko, they went to Boston College, and they were the summer before they came in, you guys had won nationals, you know, and from your, you know, you stayed with one team, and that actually, you got recruited to the U18s, U20s, and U17s based off this Cherif team, right? Well, how was your experience with the national teams, and you know, how much did that help you as far as like to reach the pro level?
Well, I think it all starts up with Cherif. I mean, I was their youth 11. Like I said, I was just a tall, skinny kid, kick the ball on. That was my job. Every goal kick, you're taking it. So obviously he started doing sushi clinic. He started doing shooting on Wednesday. So that's why I started developing a little skill, a little this and that kind of helped me get to where I was getting called up for the national team. And then, you know, did 3 years with just consistent work. Started playing tournaments, started getting looked at by ODP. That's why all started with me. I did ODP. I got called up to do a tournament. And then next thing you know, national team. Unexpected. I think coming from Pasadena, coming from Cherif, it was just not a no more day for us at a soccer field. So, I mean, once I started getting called up, Cherif, what can I do? I'm still learning the game. I'm 15. I don't know much about it. U17 getting called up 2 years ahead is
big time.
It's big time. But for me, I feel like I wasn't ready for it because I feel like I was still hitting my prime as I get older, and just, you know, I did my first camp with the national team, did more than I thought I would. Started getting called up for tournaments, Dallas Cup, Milk Cup in Ireland. You know, I started doing all this crazy stuff, but then once that was over, I came back to Cherif.
Yeah.
I could have gone to do academy, and everybody was telling me come do academy. A lot of players left for academy, but I decided to stay with Cherif. I knew that this was my bread and butter, and I knew I was going to develop more than what I am, than instead of focusing on playing at a higher level, which I felt like I wasn't ready yet.
Facts. Big pressure, because think about the developmental academy comes around,
Yeah.
and it was big time, you know, Nike sponsors, like all the big clubs were there. So for you to decide not to, because I played that and it was an amazing experience, but for you to, you know, stay with the smaller club with Cherif shows your loyalty, bro.
Yeah.
And it shows how good, like that, man, how sick of a coach that is for you to just be like, even after, you know, being with the national team and even after playing for other high level coaches, it was still Cherif, the one who, you know, who you came back home and had your loyalty. So I respect that, man. And like, I'm sure he's proud of you, bro, and everything you accomplished. And, you know, we're proud of him, bro. So I'm glad you got to, you know, get those experiences with the national team. I feel like I don't know. I feel like before, you know, it's obviously the development for us was rec league, club ODP, and then, you know, national team, regional team. I feel like that ODP was clutch, bro.
Yeah.
I feel like if you think about it, the way ODP's mapped out is every state, you know, and even, you know, states are fucking huge. You know, we have SoCal and North Cal. We have to divide them into two because they're so big. But I feel like that's the last time, you know, we kept talent under one magnifying glass, where you see, you know, the best kids from California compete against the other states, and you see that, you know, in regions like California, Texas, Florida, New Jersey, those are the more dominant states because there's more access for soccer, you know. So I would say, you know, what were you know, one of the best memories of the national team? What level, what age, you know, that was crucial for your development?
I think when I was called up to U20s, we did Dallas Cup, and I think what kind of just opened my eyes was that we were opening up the tournament against Mexico for Dallas Cup, and you know how back then there was a whole ceremony with all the teams.
And then they did the super group.
Yeah, so we were in the super group, and we actually opened up the whole tournament. So I think for me it was a big experience because a bunch of young kids, I was one of those kids years ago. Now I'm here on the big stage, playing for my country, playing against, obviously I'm Mexican, so I was against Mexico. And it was just one of those things like man, I can actually do this, you know? But I think the most humbling experience was, again, Cherif was right there. Right there, making sure that I played well. He was actually coaching me while we were playing, because at that time I was a left back, so he was right there in the sidelines telling me what to do. So I think that was just an eye opener for me. It's like, you know,
you can do it. Like, you're up to that level.
A kid that had nothing to a stage like this, playing against another big country, it's a rivalry to begin with. And I'm here living it, playing it, and experiencing it. It was just one of those things where, like, I'll never forget the national team. This is who I felt like I could be and I could do as the years go by. So that was one of my main experience with them. Other than receiving Nike stuff, I mean.
Yeah, bro. The whole experience, that they give you the whole kit, they fly you out. You actually feel like a pro. You know, I feel like if it wasn't just like that for just the national team. Imagine if it was like that for your local club team, bro. How elite that would be, and how invested some of these kids would actually be in. It's just like, we have everything that you know. I feel like me and you were fortunate enough to get these opportunities as youngsters, but we actually got it, you know, with the U.S. Soccer Federation, like the best experience that you can get it. And, you know, and so many of my friends didn't get this experience that I'm like, man, they missed out. And they, you know, even if I feel like you come back from those trips and you're a completely different player just because of what you've seen, you know, and it gives you a better drive. It gives you inspiration to keep working, you know, and it like, especially us coming from, you know, from immigrant parents, from small households, you know, for us to be on big stages representing the United States is big time. And, you know, I feel like, you know, it's going to continue I want to keep fighting for this, because as much as like me and you were out getting opportunities to get him at the youth level, I'm still not seeing enough players at the full team, you know. And I feel like a lot of we've established that, you know, we're athletic and we're strong, and you know we have the have African American players, we have a lot of like American players, but we still don't have the American Hispanics, you know, the sauce or something that's going to bring us to the next level. And I feel like that's very important for us to unlock that next level of our soccer here in America, and where I feel like, you know, in the next 10 years, I think we're going to be a powerhouse. I really, really do think that we're going to be, you know, a dominant nation of soccer in the world. And I think we just have to, one, provide a better system, a better blueprint, a better, you know, just a better standard for the American player. You know, it can't be pay to play, and we can't just make everything about money. And at the youth level with the national team, our pool is huge, because we're such a large country, but there's a lot of talent to be developed, and a lot of our leagues are you know, our national teams are not where they should be, because, you know, as much as develop there's how much talent there's to develop, there's not enough access to it, and there's not enough people developing to develop this talent. Yeah, man. So obviously you have a good youth career, you know, playing under Cherif. And then, you know, getting a call-ups to the 18s, the U17, the U20 national team. Did you ever think about going to college, or would you just focus on like, I'm gonna just keep balling out and hopefully I can, you know, play pro?
When I first started with the U20s, my mind was, I want to play pro.
Yeah.
Obviously, my mom.
Because you were 17 at that time.
I was about to turn 18. So I was still young.
Yeah.
I just graduated high school, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I got called up. And then I was like, I want to do this. But my mindset was, I need to play pro now.
Yeah.
My time is now. My mom always says, go to school. Yeah. You have paperwork. You can get a full ride for education. Do it. But the thing that my mom never realized was the reason why I was pushing so hard to go pro was because the money.
Yeah.
I know if I can make some money, she can get some money.
Yeah.
I'm taken care of. She don't have to work so hard.
Yeah.
I'm still young. Maybe my career can take off from here.
Yeah.
So that was my main concern. I need to go play pro.
Yeah.
College, I can always go back into it.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of the system is go to college, graduate, get a good education, degree, and then get drafted.
Yeah.
I didn't have time for that.
Yeah.
I feel like my time was now. Hispanic, playing in the U.S. is
big time.
Big time. And top of that it's not really a common thing where you see Gonzalez on the back of a jersey for the U.S. So it was more so I need to go play. I finished high school and I was like, the opportunity came to go play in Mexico. I was like, I'm going to take it. I'm going to Mexico.
Yeah.
Play for Tigres, which is a top team for the youth. Develop a lot of players there, so I was like, why not give it a shot?
Definitely a no-brainer, bro.
Yeah, it was more so like, come try out for 2 weeks. We're interested. We'll see how it goes. But within a week, I was already offered a contract for 3 years in Mexico. I was like, here's my time. I need to take it now. I had obviously full rides to, let's say, UCLA. UConn was the top school back then, so it was just like school or make the money now.
Yeah.
And for me, it was like, look, Mom, I'm sorry that I'm not doing education, but I promise that this will also take care of you and obviously me and all the struggles that we had growing up. So that was my
respect, bro. First, respect, because that's a dream. You know, as far as like maybe the American dream, as far as like a soccer player to go to college, like nah, like that's coming from a Hispanic background, anywhere in the world, the dream is to play pro, and the dream is to, you know, play pro as young as we can. So I wish that was fed out. You know, I respect the fact that, you know, you wanted to, and you kind of, you're just assertive that that's what you wanted to do, and you know your motivation was your mom and you know, obviously a salary. You know, it's respectful. It's the right way. It's a different kind of hunger.
Yeah.
You know, and I wish that I had that hunger, because I wish that, you know, I had heard like, oh, go to college, and I wish somebody would have told me like, nah, like, because deep in my heart, I knew that I wanted to go pro.
Yeah.
But I was just like, oh, I've always kind of just been told to go to college, and like the reason I want to talk about it is because I think that we should give our players that option. We should be able to, you know, talk to them about, have that conversations like, you know, college may not be the best option for some of y'all. You know, if you see what happens in the NBA, some of these guys skip college to go to the pro because they want to take care of their family. I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. I feel like that's the right way to do it. Clearly, there comes risk with that. You know, contracts, politics, and everything that goes behind the scenes. But if you're willing to bet on yourself, if you're willing to just grind it out and take that risk, I feel like it's worth it. I feel like we need to start telling these players. Like, my brother's 16, and my brother tells me, I tell my brother, like, well, what's your goal? Like, what do you want to do? And he's like, I want to play college. And I'm like, where do you want to play college? He's like, I want to play college close to home. And I'm like, why? And he's like, so mom can see me. And I'm like, okay, cool. So what do you know? I kind of just go about it. I go see him play at the beginning of the season. He's good. Then I see him 5 games in. He's really good. I'm like, yo, let's go D1. Let's go to the ACC where I play. So he's like, all right, cool. Then we go 10 games in the season. He's scoring. He's strong in the air. I'm realizing my 16-year-old brother could play pro definitely in 2 years with the potential he has. So I tell him, I'm like, bro, honestly, what I'm gonna tell you as an older brother, and I wish someone would have told me, is like, go pro. Skip the NCAA. Let's put that on the back burner. Let's not put that a priority. Let's graduate you from high school. Let's get your grades up. Let's train for the next 2 years as a professional. By the time you finish high school, let's go to a USL team. Let's go maybe to a Galaxy 2 and try out and stuff like that. And if by 20 years old, after 2 years of trying out, you don't make it, you still have eligibility, you can still go and play college at 20 years old. Yeah. I feel like no one's really giving that advice. I'm not hearing that advice from anywhere. I feel like, growing up, the only advice was like, go to college. But I got to college, it wasn't the best fit for me. And I feel like my potential and my best years of development were rushed down the drain because I took a decision that the club teams and the American system had advised me to give it. And I just want to, make a clear point that telling our players to go to college, and or at least just having college soccer as a number one priority. I'm not saying it's wrong, but I'm not saying it should be our number one priority.
If you really want to go play pro, there's a short window for players. Sometimes a coach likes you, and then a year or two, he's like,
yeah.
Back then, you were probably fit our system better. You could have been our top, whatever. But then there's that little percentage that it's all it takes. I mean, the reason why I skipped college also is because I was playing against UCLA friendlies in their preseason. Yeah. I was dominating as a left back. I'm like, how is it possible? I'm still in high school. Yeah. You guys are second, third year in college and Division 1. Yeah. It's like nobody told me, but I used to tell Cherif, what should I do? I'm about to graduate. I need to figure something out. And he told me the same thing. Like, I'm not telling you to do this, but I'm giving you my advice. And I think with him giving me his advice going pro, telling me to take care of your family, it also was my mindset. I mean, like you said, there's nothing wrong with college, but sometimes, there's a bigger picture and education's always there. Yeah. To play a pro, a dream, it's once in a lifetime. You can play 1 year. It could be the best year, it could be the worst year, but at least you're experiencing something a lot of players don't get to experience.
Facts. Nah, I think our obviously our time is, coming to an end, but as far as developing, our time developing has come to an end, but I feel like it's time for us to give the feedback, bro, and I feel like I feel like to this day, a lot of our advice is still trying to get our players to the college system.
Try to get a full ride.
And parents and players have to see that realistically it's so hard to get a full ride. Yeah. You got to realize that the team, I think men get probably 9 scholarships, and they have to divide that 9 scholarships on between 24, 22 players. So for you to get a full ride scholarship is going to be, chances are slim to none. So it's a lot of people don't tell us to chase the dream because they're saying, the chances of you making it pro are slim to none. But it's just so are the chances of getting a full ride scholarship. So I feel like we just have to give our players options. We just got to give them options, just because every journey is going to be different. Every kid's going to be recruited different. And especially in this system, bro, like I said, there's no clear blueprint on how to do things. So I feel like if there's so many, there's no clear blueprint, we can't just tell kids you have to go to college. You have to go to college. We have to find better advice. We have to give them a better blueprint, such as yourself. Maybe I skip college and I go to Mexico, you know, so you clearly decided to go to Tigres. Would you say it was a good decision or a bad decision?
I mean, it was good.
Yeah.
And you train all this time to be at least decent, you know?
Yeah.
To know the fact that your hard work is paying off to sign your first pro contract. Not in the United States, but in Mexico, where, you know, a lot of the people in Mexico get signed because they live in Mexico. They start with the youth. I'm coming from a whole different country to a team like that. It was like, I can't beat that. I can't really beat the experience. My first time really being in Mexico, experiencing the culture, learning the game out there is a lot different from what I was taught, you know. But at the same time, it's one of those things where you know that you're in the right path and you're doing something well enough to make me, you know, get called up to the first team or national team now. So it was one of those things where like I didn't expect to succeed so quick, because after a month of training with the U17s, I started going with the U20s. I did preseason with the U20s. My first game against Santo, I get an assist, and my first assist was to Alan Pulido.
Damn,
he was
there.
Yeah. So he was my guy. Like, hey, I like how you play. Like, let me take you out. Let me show you around. So I started experiencing a lot of things that I didn't experience back home, but I was also learning from somebody that I just knew he was a U20 player. I don't believe that was the name that always stuck around. Yeah. But look at him now, getting called up to the full national team. I'm learning from Tuca. He was my coach.
Yeah. One of the options, if you're not going to go to college, is you know, a lot of the common number one thing is that players are going to go either to Mexico. You know, if you're from Southern California, I feel like a lot of the players, if they don't go to college, are going to go to Mexico. Yeah. And if they don't go to Mexico, you know, maybe Sweden or to like one of those European countries to try to develop. But I feel like a lot of players American players have to understand that, like, that's such a tough process, bro. Like, you have to go there not just only fit, you have to go there mentally strong, because people look at American players as weak. Yeah. You know, like we're Hispanic first, and you know, but they look at us like, oh, he's coming from, here's a gringo coming, he's got to be pussy, he's gonna be whack, blah blah blah. So that it's not a handout, you know. So for you to find you know, a good chemistry, and it goes to show you that, you know, your development through Cherif must have been good, because, bro, you pulled up, signed, and you know, you were welcome into, you know, that Tigres group, and you know, I feel like you were not under just in the group and under a good club, but you know, the coach there was, you know, amazing. You know, if you put the thought into it, and if you do the right homework, you're gonna end up at the right fit, as you know, as far as if you don't decide to play college. One pattern that I've noticed that works, you know, for the advantage of an American player is to definitely leave for a year. And I feel like once you come back and you have that you know, that on your resume that you played in Mexico, in Tigres, or you played anywhere professionally, your price goes up. I feel like as far as like recruitment, I feel like we need. That's what I'm frustrated with, is like, okay, like, you want us to play at the college level, and you know, you're suggesting that for us to go to the college level, but a player that leaves, such as yourself, to an international country, comes back for a year, gets the respect, and now is on the radar of professional teams, you know.
They didn't ask me, what college did you go to? It was, oh, you come from Mexico?
Exactly, after 1 year, right?
Let's talk about what's the situation right here, what's going to happen. You're interested, we're interested. And usually it's like, oh, what college did you go to? D2. Oh, okay, well, maybe we'll. They
don't give you that respect. So, you know, that Eric was saying is like, that's why I don't really think we should have our number one priority be that to get us to college. Because the college game doesn't get any respect. You know, we can do 4 years and we can, you know, show up, and then a kid that's been in Tigres for 1 year is gonna get that spot no matter what, because of that professional experience. Get better advice. We have to give a better blueprint, you know, of little things like that, where you saw that, you know, you went away, came back, and you signed with the Timbers, you know, and you had a good run to a point where the contract you sign is amateur, but you finish out, you do so well with the 23, with the Poland 23s, that you get put onto the reserves, and then you finish out a full season with the first team. How was that experience?
Crazy. I mean, I think just experiencing Mexico and the U.S., their systems, in 1 year was a little bit different. But obviously here in the U.S. we have more money and more stuff to provide. So I thought I was coming in like Mexico, wash your own stuff,
Yeah.
and it just made me realize like maybe the MLS has its ways of getting people's attention to come play here. I was like 19, 20, playing for the Portland Timbers. For me, it was like, this is what, I don't want to diss the MLS as what I'm going to say, but it's kind of like college.
Yeah.
You show up to train, your uniform is put up in your locker room, you get free cleats, you get meal, you perform in front of people. I thought, me missing out on college was going to be a bad idea, but I'm actually experiencing with the MLS, but at the same time I'm experiencing it at a higher level where I'm getting paid to do it at a certain point.
Yeah.
So I felt like Portland was a little of both worlds because I'm still young.
Yeah.
I get to experience it at 19, 20, same thing we do in college, but you're also doing what you're loving, knowing that I don't have to go back home to do classes, to do assignments or finals. So I felt like Portland was a little bit more of a good place to start off just because it was the first year in the MLS. They want to make sure they're doing things right.
Yeah.
They're expanding as the year goes with the stadium, with the fan base, with players, coaches. Like, I thought it was my first year there was dope. I mean, I get to experience the growth from their USL last year to the MLS first year. I thought it was pretty exciting.
Yeah, man, they've been a successful franchise, bro. I mean, if you look, obviously they won a few years ago, but their growth as a soccer powerhouse, the culture that they have built in Portland is incredible. Not just the growth that they've done in the MLS, but if you go back to the you were there with the first year in the MLS, but before that they had a sixth stadium.
Yeah.
They had the right crowd. They had they would cut the trees down.
Yeah.
People really invested into that, and I feel like it goes to show you that a little club like that with the right with the right funding, with the right people behind it, can become a powerhouse. So if we were to change the dynamic of like the soccer, the leagues in America, where there should be a regulation and the motion, between the USL and the MLS, soccer will be more popular. The players will have a better, something to play for, and fans will have something to play for if the dynamic and the culture was, based on regulation and promotion on performance, because right now it's pretty much no one's held accountable. It's just like the MLB and the NBA, the same thing every year. I feel like, if you look everywhere else, these clubs, no matter how small they are, they're trying to fight to get, from second division to first division. And we've seen it with Leicester City, bro. They won it. Yeah. And it's like history and the emotion and how it brings people together and how it brings the whole world together. It can be done through the sport. And I feel like we hear that we don't have any culture and any identity and no unity here in America, but it's because of stuff like this, because we don't have, everything's again back about money. Mm-hmm. The reason why we don't have regulation and emotion is because to protect the investor, to protect, to keep the money safe. That way you don't want people putting in money and then they don't perform well and then they have to be in second division.
Well, I experienced that whole topic with when I was in ATL.
With the silverbacks.
NSL wanted to do things with MLS, and MLS was like, we don't want to promote nothing. Like, you guys stay your level, we stay here.
Yeah.
But then as the years went by, the MLS told NSL, if you guys can provide us a certain amount of money to collide both leagues, we're willing to open that up. And then that's when New York Cosmos came in and Miami came in. The owners provided that amount. Here, now let's do it. MLS shut it down because first they didn't think they had the money to bring up. Second, it was like LA Galaxy was at the bottom of the table, so they didn't want LA Galaxy to go down.
The biggest market.
Yeah, because Miami and Cosmos were winning the league every year. Yeah. Then there was nothing else to it. They're just champions. All right, next year let's see if we can do it again. Yeah. So they started doing. They wanted to do that, but
it's to protect that.
So it's like no.
It's to protect money. Yeah. Protect money. Like you said, like LA Galaxy. How are you gonna have LA Galaxy play second division in the biggest market in the MLS? And it goes to show like that's why this is a retirement league, and that's why this league is not growing the way it should be, because we're protecting the money. We're protecting money first, bro. And like I said, like if if you were to have like a level playing field where the Cosmos, and because there's good USL sites, bro. You see who's killing it. They're from where Danny Barrera's at. Hartford. Oh, yeah. Hartford, bro. Hartford tells me they have the facility, they have the crowd, they have the players to maybe beat out some of these MLS teams. So that's a crazy dynamic and crazy story that you're telling us, because that's how I see it as a fan. As a fan, I would love to see some of these USL teams or even NPSL teams, have a chance or get a run at it. And we have it with the Open Cup. We see how exciting the Open Cup is, and you can see that anybody could really beat anybody.
That's the thing about soccer. There's too many politics, and it's a lot of the European players started going to the USL because it's an easier league for them. Like Joe Cole was playing for Tampa Rowdies 1 year. Yeah. Like how's that? How do you skip MLS to go to USL? Yeah. It's like if I'm gonna get the same pay, I might as well go to lower division. Yeah. So it's I think USL it's doing its thing now. That's kind of like by itself. Yeah. But I still think that MLS is just being too hard-headed with their ways. What they have, for USL it is, because USL teams and players go to the MLS. Like Kane was in the USL, now he's balling for LAFC, and now he's called up to the national team. Like they're not opening their eyes on just the league. They're still focused on the players itself, because sometimes there's a gem right there in that team where they play for, I don't know, like a smaller USL team, but they can still be in the MLS, and it just makes no sense how MLS can just bash on these leagues saying, "Oh, you're starting a whole new league." We're not worried about that. Yeah. It's a kind of embarrassing at a certain point. Yeah. It's a lot of stuff that on the business side we may not understand, or we go behind the scenes, but like clearly you've seen that what goes down, and it goes to show you that the MLS is comfortable because they're making their money, they're selling their jerseys, they're selling their seats. One thing I hate, bro, is the DP rule. Like as far as like DP rule is like, in the past David Beckham would be. It's dope that David Beckham came and showed awareness and did what he did and pioneered the next level of this thing. But now you see like the Higuain brothers coming in and they're in last place and they're walking on the field, and it's just like, this is why our team is not developing. These are why our youth has to be exported, because we're giving the big checks, the big monies to the Higuain brothers, to the washed up people that want to come here and kind of just retire, and instead of giving it to the young youth talent, instead of giving it to the USL talent, that instead of looking for someone in the USL to be the next DP, like, because it's there, or maybe in the college league, it's just like nothing makes sense. Nothing that MLS, all of the rules that they have don't make sense. If you see what happened with Atlanta United with Hainsey before he got fired recently, but he was trying to put some of the academy kids on the first team, and the leagues wouldn't allow it. It's like, okay, so like if the rules are if there's a rule that prevents you from putting a young player on the first team, like, what the fuck? Like it's a false dream that you're selling to every player that's thinks that they're gonna be able to climb up the ladder, and it's like it's a false promise. I think we have a lot of the stuff backwards, and I'm tired of people thinking, oh, it's a young league, or it's like, no, bro. The thing is that we don't want to let go of the money. We don't want to let go of the money and build the right foundation, and it's sad. And like you said, it's embarrassing, because at the end of the day, America is a capitalist country and we want to make money, but like also like we gotta do business the right way. And how we do business the right way is by developing the talent young from these rec leagues, from Pasadena, and then selling them, bro, and then collecting all that money and then reimbursing it. It all recycles, instead of charging for soccer. Like, I feel like these youth clubs are not where it's at, not where it needs to be, and I feel like we have a big mountain to climb, but I feel like it's gonna get there. I'm optimistic that soccer in America is growing. It may not be growing right now, but it's definitely where it needs to be going. I feel like it is. I mean, like, I feel like you can get a young kid give them a salary of 70 to 100K. That's nothing to them. Unless
Yeah.
you know they're talented, and then 2 years down the road you sell them. Now you make your money. It's like, but the worst part is like MLS doesn't see how we see it because there's a World Cup, there's the Olympics, there's the Gold Cup. At one point, U.S. was even qualifying. So it's like we're trying to get better, but we're not showcasing our talent with the youth. Now you go to the bigger stage where everybody watches these tournaments, and you're not even there. Why?
Yeah.
Because you forget about what's really going to help you as the years go by.
Yeah.
So I feel like U.S. should kind of just work on the stuff again with, let's send kids to the Europe and then bring them back here and then help them get better with the MLS.
Yeah.
Get them experience something. Give them something where we can kind of send players there and then bring them back to the States and then have them develop even more. But we don't have anything.
We don't have nothing as far as like, it's crazy that we have this, that our number one option is to export it because we know that that's the fastest way. And the thing is like we don't have anything that's the best possible option to export it because we legit have nothing to offer them here. And it should be to a point where, bro, like where there's 25 cities, there's 27 teams in the MLS. There's probably like 24 cities in that, where they can start, developing these youth talent as far as like through the public system, through rec centers. It's like the MLS has done a lot of growth in the last 25 years, with the awareness of soccer, the growth in soccer, but it's time to actually, invest in the youth, invest into the development, invest into the reserves and academies, and not just, try to bring in the old names. Yeah, the not just to sell seats, because there is talent. You see the 17-year-old from Dallas, Texas, Pepe. He just scored a hat trick. Like those are the players that we should be cashing out. Those are the players that in 5 years, and the kid's 18, in 3 years we could sell them for millions. And it's just like I feel like those are we have to start investing in domestic talent and not just investing in domestic talent, but keeping that domestic talent here. I don't want him to send him. I feel like the MLS has to provide. We have the resources. We have everything. We just need the right map and the right umbrella, bro. You have a good run with the Timbers, and you're still very young, right? Yeah. So you go back home to train with Mount Sac, and you end up staying there.
I ended up staying there. Somehow, some way, I ended up staying there.
So yeah, man. So at this point, you've played in. On the national team, you played in Mexico, you played with the Timbers, which was an amateur contract, so you still had eligibility to play with Mount Sac. And Mount Sac, for those who know, it's a community college, Walnut, Pomona, Southern California area, and it's a powerhouse. As far as like if you're not, let's say you're in an unclear path in your soccer career where you're playing club and you're not getting recruited, or you're not you don't have plans of going pro or signing with an agent, you should really look into the community college game. If you want to keep playing, if you want to keep developing, you might want to take a look at Pasadena City College, Cerritos, Mount Sac, Yavapai, Tyler Community College in Texas. There's a lot of powerhouses that are not just giving opportunities to develop, but actually putting people in the pros. Mount Sac has put tons of talent through the pros. I just talked to Alan Rovita. I just talked to Mike Randolph, who come from community college. If you actually go there and grind for those 2 years, and you're in an environment where you can, focus on being a soccer player, you're gonna have those not just you're gonna have those chances to get recruited and be seen by D1s, but you also can go and sign pro right off of community college. We've seen Yuda from Pasadena do it. We've seen a lot of people, who from other colleges have taken this path, and it also, I feel like it's our duty to put that out there, that okay, like even if a parent is like clueless about the college system and wants to just educate themselves on what to expect for their child if he's not getting recruited, definitely do your due diligence and do your homework on what community college is close to you, what can be a good fit, because the college level, the as far as the soccer level, it's a good level. Yeah. So let's talk about your experience at Mount Sac. As far as like how'd you end up there, and kind of your experience with Juan, because Juan is, man, a legend.
Another one.
Another legend another person who from Southern California who is doing it right, who has been doing it right for multiple years, so definitely someone that, has a lot of, has had a lot of influence on the Southern California soccer.
And so the reason why I went to Mount Sac was because one of my old teammates for Cherif, he was training there in his off season. He was playing at Irvine. So I hit him up like, hey, where are you training at? Because the fields are nice there. So you're like, I want to go there. And I saw a lot of college players. So I'm like, okay, this is a good place to go train. And he told me Mount Sac, never heard of it. Yeah. Didn't even know what it was, didn't even know that thing existed. And he's like, just come out. The coach knows about you. You come out, train next week with us and see how it goes. So I show up my first day. He knows me from high school, apparently. I know some of the guys already, just being local. From even youth days, we used to go against each other. And then next thing you know, he's like, how do you like it here? I'm like, I mean, it's cool. It's a cool place to come train, thinking nothing of it. And he's like, good, because I register you to come play for me for your first year. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, yeah, Marco told me that you didn't have an option to go anywhere. Like, you were still trying to figure out where to go. And he's like, come play for me, play a year at least. Let me guide you the right way through college or whatever the case may be. How well you do depends on you. And just see how it goes from there. So I ended up playing my first year. We won state and nationals. There was a 4P for Mount Sac.
Wow.
We were undefeated that whole year. A lot of players were sent out to D1 schools. I think Juan was just the perfect fit for me because he understands like the struggle. He understands that he can take players to the next level, but he doesn't throw that out you like, here, I'm gonna do this for you. He's like, this is what I can offer you. This is what you can do. Mm-hmm. We'll meet in the middle, and then after your year's up, let's see how far you can go and where I can take you.
Look, let me make 2 points on the stuff on the things you just said, because he's someone that he's Mexican background, so he grew up in California, I think, and he played in the American system, right? So someone that guided you the positive way. Cherif is someone that went to UCLA, that played in the American system. So it just goes to show you that we don't really necessarily need to bring foreigners, or we need to adapt our soccer or our philosophies from South America or Europe. Just like the guys that know the system, the guys that are successful, the Bruce Arenas, the Cherifs, the Juans, they're all grew up in the American system. They know the American system. So I feel like we have not just the resources, not just the players, but we have the experience and we have the knowledge here in America. So, bro, that's why I'm not just. I know it's a system that's in shambles, but that's why I'm optimistic, because once we figure it out, bro, we're gonna be that. Yeah. We're gonna be that nation, and your journey hasn't been a fairy tale journey. You didn't go to college. You went to Mexico. You bounced back to the MLS. You bounced community college. It shows at every level you had someone that gave you the right guidance, that knew the system. And it was not just they were probably not the most popular or not the most gifted coaches, but they just knew. They understood the immigrant background. They understand where you come from as a person, not just a soccer player. And I feel like for the dynamic and for the development of a player, those are the important factors. Not just the soccer fields, like people that have the compassion and the empathy, like Cherif, like Juan, that actually know that they're not just a number. They're not just we're gonna use them, and then they're actually people who actually just like, okay, you come from this background, you'll be a better fit here. Yeah. Boom, boom, boom. Let me give you the tools. Let me give you the environment. Let's work out the way we want to work out, and then it's on you. And that's all we need. That's all a player. That's all any American player needs, is someone that actually cares about the development. It's not just about keeping the job, or just kind of just like getting that group and kind of teaching them a system and pushing it on. It's actually doing those things not even that extra mile what a coach should be doing.
And it was for free. I mean, I'm pretty sure Juan doesn't know we're talking about him.
Yeah.
He doesn't understand the impact that he gave us. Cherif doesn't know either. You
have a good first year at Mount Sac. The level's good. You guys win 4P. You get a national championship. You go All-American. All-American. So you decide to stay another year
there. Yeah. I was supposed to only do 1 year, and then just the way things were going with soccer. I mean, mind you, I had no agent, so at that time, agent was the way to go about things. So my mind was like, let me play 1 more year, let me get myself back in shape, get myself experience, and then go try out for all these other teams. I do my 2nd year. Juan again is guiding me through the whole process. He's like, these are the colleges that are interested in, but these are the other pro teams are also a best fit for you. So you just play the season, pick left or right. You decide what you want to do, just make sure you ball out. He gives me the responsibility for the team just so he can get myself ready for the next level. It's like, you're going to be my captain. I need you to make sure that you take care of the team and just prove why you're the captain, why you deserve these 2 options.
Yeah.
We win state again, and then I get All-American as well. So that was kind of how I ended up my 2 years at Mount Sac, just with Juan just guiding me throughout the whole process, just making sure that I'm still level-headed and still remember that there's still hope to do this, which was college was always going to be there.
Yeah.
But there was also that 1% chance that I can still go pursue and play soccer again at a higher level than college.
Man, that's dope, bro, because like I said, Juan, I played for Juan when I was 15, and he was the first person to introduce a 3-5-2. And he that's what he played at Mount Sac, and it shows you that, if a coach, this is a coach that knew himself. He knew his style. He knew no matter like what player, what group he got, what talent he got, he was gonna play this format. So that's, I feel like that's something important that up and coming players need to pay attention in their recruiting process. See what formation, ask the coach what formation he's been playing the last 2 years and stuff. Because a lot of the times, you go on these recruiting visits and they'll sell you a dream. They'll sell you the Nike sponsor. They'll sell you, we have a good football team, blah, blah, blah. But like, nah, what formation are you guys going to do? Because I want to know, because I don't want to pull up to preseason and then, you tell me we're going to be a fast, direct, attacking team, but then because of the conference we're playing, we have to sit back and we have to fight. And like, that's not the right way to do things, So I feel like the more questions you ask about style of play, about formation, about, actually do, because the coach is going to know everything about you, but are you going to know everything about the coach? I feel like that's a lot of parents have to do their knowledge, their homework on that, and a lot of players have to do their homework on, if you decide to play college or junior college, but definitely Juan at Mount Sac is someone that's going to play you a 3-5-2. He likes, to pack the middle. He likes to keep the ball, and it's an attractive style of soccer. So, if that's a style you want to play, Mount Sac is definitely a place you want to be.
It's funny that you mentioned 3-5-2, because my whole club until Mount Sac, I was a left back.
Yeah.
Juan tells me I play the system. I was like, okay, I can play in the back, with 3. He's like, you're going to play in the middle. You're going to play like a stopper for me. I was like, I haven't done this. Like, this is not new, but at the same time, like, a whole different style of play. Because I used to run the whole line by myself.
Yeah.
It's like, now you're going to hold there. You're going to be the defensive anchor. And then just ping that ball whenever you see it.
Yeah.
And it was just funny because I'm like, I don't know how to play D-mid. Like, I played in high school, but everybody plays different positions in high school because it's a lot easier, it's cheap, and it's a lot like more fun to do other things. So that was my only experience as a D-mid, and then Juan comes and chooses a 3-5-2.
Yeah.
Now I'm stuck in the middle, learning the whole position as the years go by.
Yeah.
But it turns out from there, everybody loved me in the middle, and that's why I ended up kept playing pros as a holding mix, which is
that's crazy.
2 different positions from the whole line to the middle. It was just a little different for me.
A lot of times it's not a success story where someone gets moved and you actually adapt and actually you made a career out of this. It's fact sitting in the 6. So that's dope. Like I said, Juan is a soccer genius, bro. He knows he has not your typical tiki-taka, but he definitely is very organized, and definitely we're going to maintain the bond and try to go forward. And I feel like that's the attractive soccer American, not just college soccer. It's not just an attractive college soccer style. It's an attractive American style. I feel like, bro, like we have the athleticism and the speed to play three in the back and just pack it in the middle, and then like let's have two big boys up top, two targets, and I feel like that's a clearly a format that works in the junior college level. So I'm sure it could work at the higher levels throughout the U.S. So after 2 successful years at Mount Sac, great guidance. At mine at this point, bro, you come from a single parent home. Mm-hmm. You come from a public school, and on top of this, you're getting all this stuff for free because of soccer. Yeah. You're getting through life because of soccer. As far as like, you're climbing up the ladder as a player, but as a human, bro, think about it. You don't have to worry about housing, food, and stuff like that. Yeah, like, man, I'm sure you had your struggles, but as far as like, you always had a direct path lines, like I'm doing this because of soccer. Yeah, like this is why we're fighting to change the system, because your mom is proud of you, Pasadena is proud of you, and you've gotten all these opportunities through soccer. So if you give the access to this simple game, bro, we're gonna be able to get a lot of kids out the hood, out the streets, and actually, form a great quality life, So after that, you become, man, I love telling this story, bro. I love talking about Cal AFC, because talent that is in these amateur leagues, the talent that is in like these, lower level leagues, that, anyone could beat anybody. So after Mount Sac, you joined Cal AFC with Danny Barrera, who was a Richie Menjivar, Mike Randolph, Pablo Cruz. You were on there. Debbie Carrillo was there. Yeah. So yeah, man, that's a story I'm very familiar with. Eric Wynalda puts this group of guys together, and you guys start smacking everybody. You guys, the Open Cup is USL teams, MLS teams, NPSL teams, and they all compete under one. Teams. All the amateur teams compete, in this tournament, just for a big cash prize. And yeah, like it's one of those only tournaments where MLS teams can be played. You can play with the MLS teams. So it's about so you guys start this run. What do you remember about this group? What do you remember about Eric Wynalda and this whole experience?
Well, Pablo called me up, and Pablo has been my guy since we were in Villa Park. So we've known each other for 20 plus years.
Let me tell you one thing about Pablo, bro, because I think I brought him up. This is my 10th episode. I brought him up like at least 6 of the episodes, because he's someone, when it comes to Mike Randolph, when it comes to you, when it comes to Alan Rovira, Pablo is someone that always has looked out, bro. He's like a mini agent. Yeah. He's like, he knows, obviously he's a baller himself, but he knows the players that can fit into the right teams, that they may be able, maybe that may be a good fit for a certain coach. So he's always looked out, bro, because from experience, I can tell you, like, after college, he was someone on the phone with me, hey, bro, come sign here, come play here. Mike Randolph told me too, was like, oh, he's, Pablo got me this trial. Richie Menjivar told me, like, oh yeah, I was there with Pablo Cruz. That guy not only is a baller and has an eye for talent, but he just looks out for people, bro. So that I'm dying to get on the podcast. So, shout out to my boy Pablo Cruz, bro.
Salute to
Dina legend.
Yeah, so he called me up talking about, hey, we're setting up for this tournament. I didn't know what the Open Cup was. Yet alone, I didn't know who Eric Wynalda was. Hey, Eric Wynalda's asking about you. I told him, and I'm like, who's Eric Wynalda? And obviously, for me, the people that know me, I don't really follow soccer that too much. Like basketball is we can talk about basketball from the 80s, 90s, whatever. Yeah. So Paulo was like, Eric Wynalda is a coach now. He's coaching, setting up a whole group of guys that made it pro, and they're looking for something right now. He's building a team. We're doing Open Cup run. He's gonna take care of you. He's gonna pay you just to come out and play, and so it's worth your time. And that's where I remember I showed up one day to 1,000 Oaks. Yeah. We played some Sunday League team, but the team was just nasty. Like, you touch it here, it's nasty. You touch it there, I'm like, who's these guys? Yeah. And he's like, don't worry, like, we're gonna set you up. We're gonna take care of you. And next week we're gonna take off to, I think was Wilmington. Yeah. We're gonna go play a USL team. I think they were USL at the time. And that was my first memory with Wynalda and Pablo and Richie and Mike Randall. I was just learning what this tournament was. I was learning what the whole point of this tournament was. I was learning about Wynalda. So I was just a kid going in there just like, yeah, if I get to play with these guys, why not? Let me see what you guys are talking about. And that's how it all started with me.
So that team ends up, you guys go to Wilmington, beat them. I think you guys played the Sounders. You almost beat them.
Yeah, so we started, I think we played Hammerheads, Tacoma, I think it was Tacoma. We went to Seattle or Washington. And then we ended up playing Portland. We beat them, and then we lost to Seattle second half. Because the first half it was 0-0, and then...
Hey, but then they brought the first team on.
They already had the first team. So we gave them a PK, and then after that PK, we knew, like, we did what we could. Around the 60th minute, that's when we kind of just... our hopes just went down.
But what's incredible about that Open Cup run and that Cal FC team is Wynalda on a whim puts a group of guys together. There's a lot of potential. But what's dope and what's Cinderella-like story about this is that he takes, 6 to 8 guys and signs them to Orlando Silverbacks, and he signs them pro. And not only, it goes from being a Cinderella story where they had a good run in the Open Cup, it's like, nah, this guy actually took half of the team and signed him pro. That eye for talent, it shows you again that the level of play, a level of players that are in these amateur leagues. And what we're all saying is correct, that the talent and all the resources and everything that we need is here because of Open Cup players. You guys were, that group was together, what, a year and a half together? I mean, a month and a half together.
A month and a half.
And, for you guys to be able to compete and be able to, just like be able to compete against these like MLS teams who have to bring their first team to just take you guys out. So things can be done right, and things that there is if the right system and the right group of guys comes together, something special can happen. So you sign you're back, after community college. You sign with Atlanta Silverbacks. You play a full season there. You play, and at that time is the NASL.
Yeah.
NASL, and you're a pro. You're playing with Pablo Cruz. You're playing with a lot of guys who you grew up in Southern California. How are you feeling? What's your mental? What's your morale during this time?
I mean, I think for us was after the whole Open Cup run, we were all like wondering what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
We just knew we did something crazy. It was history. And then I think within like 2 weeks, Wynalda gets a phone call to Silverbacks talking about he got hired to be a coach. So the core of Cal FC ended up signing with Wynalda. But for me, it was more so like I didn't expect anything out of this tournament. I was just doing it because of Pablo.
Yeah.
That's my boy. I'm gonna play. I'm down with that. And then the next thing you know, we're all getting offers. Come play this NSL. I didn't know what that was either. Yeah. I found out it was second division under MLS. So I see Mike Randall get signed, Richie get signed, Diego gets signed, and then Pablo gets signed. I'm like, I'm signing too then.
Yeah.
So I ended up taking the offer just because the same core that I just was playing with, we're not playing pro. It's like, I feel like we can do damage in that league, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And after that, it was just fun. I mean, it was just all SoCal guys, knowing that we can actually play together, we can actually dominate the league, and that's what we did. That we ended up winning
the season.
Yeah, which was kind of crazy, expecting a team that Silverbacks was just a decent team to bring all these guys in and changing the whole culture was a lot of excitement for the city and just for us itself.
Bro, it's history, like you said. That's history. Like what your Cal FC run was history. The fact that you guys took the same core under Eric Wynalda and won a season, like an NASL season, that's history itself. A lot of the times we shit on the coaching and the Americans and the Alexi Lalas and the Taylor Twelmans and stuff like that. But there's people like Eric Wynalda who are American legends who care about the sport, who believe in the level of players, not just in the college system, but those players that get swept under the rug. Those players that come from the rec league, the Villa Parks. He has not just, I would say, that soft spot, but he has that eye. He's not afraid to pull up to these, USL games and like, let's see what's here. And actually, he has a special talent. So when he ran for U.S. Soccer President, I was like, yes, this is what we need. We need someone who has grown in the system, that knows the system, that's been successful, who's a soccer legend, and that can shake shit up, that can bring a different mentality, and then can wipe the whole blueprint as like, oh, you need to do it club level, national team, college to get to the pros. And I feel like Eric Wynalda has proved that there's other ways, there's other formulas, and we just have to go back to our roots. We have to go to those players, and we have to go to those towns and those leagues where a lot of the talent is unseen and untapped. We're not gonna find the best talent in the college system or at Dallas Cup or stuff like that. You're gonna find them at the big cash prize tournaments in Dallas, the big cash prize tournaments here in LA, and I'm glad you were able to, not just continue your pro career, but continue your pro career under Eric Wynalda, who I'm assuming taught you a lot for the game and taught you a lot of who was a crucial part of your development also.
He also taught me a lot of the business side, which a coach won't tell you a lot of things. He'll call me and will send me text messages about contracts and how they work and what the league wants and what he can do because of that. I mean, I think because of Eric, I started understanding a little bit more of what this U.S. Federation and the leagues are going to do, because we all players are focused on how much we're getting paid, who wants us, where can we go play. It was just like simple stuff, but we didn't realize why certain things were happening. So I started to realize, like, okay, I know a little bit more business. I'm starting to understand why he's doing this, or it gave me a little understanding of both worlds.
Like the business side and stuff. And that's one thing obviously I want to start this platform just to be a platform, and it maybe turn into a media company. But what I really think our purpose is, bro, where me and you can maybe create our own lane, is to maybe be agents, and to obviously you have the experience and you kind of know the business behind it because of the stuff that you've been through. But I feel like not only do I just want to document and provide information, I feel like the next generation, because think about it, if you want to make a difference in the coaching world, it's tough, bro, because all the positions are filled. All the big dogs are comfortable, they're soaking money. And and what I'm noticing is, bro, a lot of these players are like, especially like you, and from your experience, we're getting exploited, where we don't get the full details, where we only, get half of the story. And I feel like it's about time that, one, we need a better representation for players like us, for Pasadena players, for players that may not be the most familiar with systems like this, because it's stuff like, for example, they don't teach us taxes in high school. I feel like there's not enough information about agents, about that game. I hear so many stories that a lot of players are getting fucked because of agents, and it's a shady game and it's a cold world. So I not just I want to obviously elevate the game of soccer, but I also want to provide maybe an agency of people who have experienced this, that can guide the right way without having to exploit the family and having to exploit the player itself.
I mean, it's funny because right now I'm working with 4 players, and they're working on contracts right now. So they text me talking about, what do you think about this? Or should I do this? And it's funny because nobody was telling me this before. You had to learn, and these guys are probably like in the mid-20s. And so I'm helping them negotiate their contracts and what to expect and what
you ask for. Exactly.
And it's like NISA, which is a whole new league. It's the pay there is.
I've heard.
It's under $1,000. Like somebody that I know has a family, has a little daughter and a wife. He was playing last year for $600, just so he can pursue that dream of him that he's playing a pro athlete. Now I'm helping him negotiate that contract. Now he's making up like almost $2,000, which is still nothing, but from 6 to 2K,
it's a better situation.
A
lot of people have to know that it's tough. Now it's one thing, the system's already fucked up, the system's already in shambles, but also the conditions of the pay, the facilities, bro, the nutrition, like the mental health stuff is still the bare fucking minimum. So I'm glad that you're helping, pave the way. You're paving the way for for the next generation. I feel like that's what we have to do, bro, because there's such a gap of communication, or like miscommunication between the business side and the soccer side, and also being unfamiliar and the language barriers. So yeah, man, I feel like what you're doing is very important, and I feel like we gotta continue to just paint the picture, bro. Paint the realistic picture on what to expect. Like us growing up, we were first generation doing this, so the stuff that we were getting is limited. But now in an era where technology, where we can record anything, it's about document. This is stuff that I want to document exactly. Like the NISA League and the conditions that some of these USL players have to go through. It's shocking, and it just takes away from soccer. It takes away from the big picture of developing and the passion that you have for it. So we have to not just provide a better system, but also like a maintainable system where it's where the conditions are better. So you win the league with Atlanta Silverbacks, and you're supposed to sign another year. But again, politics, and this is a big reality, not just in the pro world, but also in the college world, is that management's changed, leadership's changed. So as far as like you come back the next year thinking you're gonna play another year, and Atlanta cleans house, right? So what happens after your first year?
So that was my first year, and then my second year was actually my better year with the Silverbacks. So that's why I knew I was going to come back. Even the GM was at our last game was against Edmonton. He comes into my hotel room with Pablo, and the GM was cool with it. He basically asked me, "How do you feel about coming back?" I was like, "This is home already."
Yeah.
I told him, "This is home already. Like, I want to come back and play. Like, why not?"
Yeah.
So he's like, "Okay, just go home, enjoy your off season. I'm gonna hit you with a contract." And details were already like in print. It was just that Wynalda left to go run for president, so they had to bring somebody else in. I think it was like Scottish guy. He ends up bringing his own players. I'm not the picture, so I'm like, here goes politics again.
Yeah.
And that's when I realized I don't want to play no more. I bust my ass off for a whole year. I'm starting.
Bro, you've won at every level, bro. With the Timbers, you won with the national team, Mount Sac, you won with Cal FC, you won. So this is a successful career for you. So for you to be thinking like, damn, I don't want to play anymore, like,
because it's like, what have I done wrong? Like, I didn't catch no case that made teams run away. I didn't do anything crazy.
Yeah.
I was just playing my part, doing my thing all year, solid, and then next thing you know, a new coach comes and he's like, he doesn't fit my style of play. I'm like, what is your style of play? I can do your long balls, I can keep the ball for you, I do it all. What is it? Yeah. And it was just one thing was like, thank you, but no thank you. And I was like, all right, well, so this is why people hate soccer sometimes, because they don't realize the struggle that we have to go through, yet alone, because we know an agent is going to do some other stuff that you don't want to do. Yeah. They handle the business side, so you don't understand exactly what it is that they're talking about until he tells you, here's your contract. Some shady stuff could be happening through the phone call, and he tells you all the good news. If you sign this, you're happy because it's a contract, but doing everything alone is a lot tougher than what it is with somebody behind you, guiding you the whole way.
Yeah, man. That's frustrating, obviously to not just, I feel like you didn't have your typical cookie cutter career trajectory, but you always were able to be a good fit anywhere you landed. And not just be a good fit, but be a successful fit. So how old are you at this point? 24, 23?
I think I'm about 24.
24. So think about it, bro. 24. So at 24, you're someone that's been successful in the whole system. And at 24, you're having thoughts about you've fallen out of love because of frustration in politics. Not just because things aren't going your way, but it's just like stuff that off the field, business side is not falling your way. So at 24, bro, someone that's supposed to be in their prime is calling it quits. That's a failure.
Yeah.
That's not a failure on your side. That's a failure on the American system, and that's a common thing happening till this day, bro. That at 24, a lot of careers are done because either things like situations like yours happen, or you go off to college, you graduate college, your morale is drained out of that, and you're hanging up the cleats, and that's the main problem right there of us not elevating the game of soccer. Because at 20, our life expectancy career in the American system is 24 years old. That's fucking sad. That should be our prime years, you know. So I think at the same age after college, I was 24. I went to El Salvador. I fell out of love. I was like, I don't want to fucking do this anymore. There's no money. There's like, you know, you kind of just like, you love the game and stuff like that. Aside from that, you can't. Your quality of life is not getting better.
Yeah.
You know, your contracts, just like everything is not coming the way, aligning the way it should be. So you're at a point where like, is it worth it playing soccer? Is it worth it, you know, keep killing my body for a paycheck that's not livable?
Yeah.
So, you know, it goes to show you that the system is cutting us short. The system is even if for someone that like you that's, you know, had opportunity, it's still tough to climb up the ladders and try to, you know, try to connect the dots, because everything off the field is not, I guess, not organized in the right way. So you decide to take some time off from playing?
Well, I decided to like just quit.
Just quit. So you after that, you're 24. You're like, I don't want to do soccer no more. At that point, what do you think? What are your plans?
Well, the reason I quit, and I was like, I'm a kid coming from Dina and having nothing, and I expect anything.
Yeah.
I did more than I should have done, you know. So I'm 24. I can still live a regular life and just put soccer to the side. So I stopped playing, and then I ended up talking to Alan. He was local, so he's like, "Hey, you want to coach?" I'm like, "Yeah, why not? Let me coach. Let me get into soccer at least."
Yeah.
Coaching,
stay close
you
to
know?
the game. Yeah. Stay close.
And then that's why I started. I coached for there for like almost a year and a half.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm starting to like soccer again. I started playing with the kids.
Yeah.
You know, so it was like I like giving back to the kids and teaching them what, you know, the way soccer should be.
Yeah.
But I still miss playing soccer, and then I randomly get a call for a PDL team to go play in Indiana, Kokomo, or in the random city that I didn't even know existed or there was soccer. But my family lives in Indiana, so I knew that there was something that can kind of bring me to go play there. And then somehow I just took the jump, and I was like, let me give this a chance again. Getting paid to play PDL, stay local to family.
Yeah.
You know, maybe I see them more than I usually see them, and I just said, why not? 3 months out of the year, let's see what happens. And
so after 2 years of being away from the game, out cold, you're coaching, you fall back in love, you get a random call and you just pick up and go and play.
Yeah. I think like less than a month.
That's some baller shit.
Less than a month, I was like, I'm done coaching, thank you, I'm gonna go play. And I didn't say anything. I told my mom, like, hey, I'm gonna go play again. I'm gonna make some money at least, so I'm not just doing it for free.
Yeah.
And she's like, of course, go. Like, she knows that obviously playing is my dream.
Yeah.
So she said, why not take off?
There's opportunities in PDL and USPSL. Like a lot of like these leagues, like it's about finding the right fit. You have that dream, and if you still, you know, want to play, then the grind is there. If you have the grind, it's always gonna be there. It just sucks that, you know, we have to do so much just to get the bare minimum.
Yeah.
But the fact that, you know, you took 2 years off and then came back is incredible. And not only for 3 months, like you have a hell of a 3 months in Indiana, and then you connect back with Eric Wynalda.
Yeah, he ends up getting a job for a UPSL team in Orange County.
The Wolves.
The LA Wolves.
LA Wolves.
And he starts calling again some of the guys that we've been with him since day one. Next you know, I show up with Pablo. Next you know, I see some other guys that we played in ATL. So he brought like a circle, Cal C and ATL. And he's like, I got this job, I'm gonna pay you guys, but we're gonna go NSL in a year or so. So stay with me. And that's how we ended up playing again. I'm like, going from PDL to 3 months to finishing the year off playing UPSL under Eric Wynalda and expecting a whole new team here in LA back home playing professional. Why not? Like,
did it feel like a clean slate, like a fresh start at that time?
it did. Because I feel like, okay, we did the Open Cup the same way. We did something crazy. Now we're going to do it again with more experience and more better players. And now it's a professional environment. We're not skipping this U.S. Open. We're going straight to the pros again. So I feel like, okay, I'm going to start all over again. Me and Pablo were just training on our own, making sure we're working out. I used to go to his house, take him to the gym. We were taking it serious. We were like, we're going to come back and make history. We're going to make sure that people remember our names again because we can't be forgotten in this league, especially here in SoCal. This is our team, so that's what happened.
Nah, and it did, bro, because to this day, you guys, when it comes to you, Pablo Cruz, German Alfaro, like Richie Menjivar, Danny Barrera, like your names are still names that are like in their prime, bro. So I love that. You know, a lot. You know, I that's something I can relate to, falling out of love with soccer, and then coming back in, and that's why I believe in giving back, and I enjoy coaching. You know, I'm frustrated in the coaching world. I'm frustrated with the coaching world just because this is a conversation about soccer in America I've tried to have in the coaching world for the last 8 years, and everyone is making money, so no one was gonna give me the time. You know, so that's why I kind of like stay away from it. But what it did do is spark that love again for me. You know, I played soccer. I was done with it after college, and then when I started coaching, you start seeing the joy that it brings, you know, just being on the field and just touching the ball, and it just realize that, bro, this game is so simple, and if I can make a living doing it, but if I can also just do it in a way that's rewarding as far as like doing it the right way, then I feel like, you know, just like the game took care of us, it's time for us to take care of them, you know, and I feel like we have to keep lighting that torch because I aspire to have kids and my kids to have that experience of being on the national team, eventually playing pro. You know, that's why I really dream for myself in my future. So the fact that, you know, you were able to not just fall back in love with it, but also like, bro, restart your pro career, because after LA Wolves, Eric Wynalda, you know, ends up at Las Vegas Lights. And you go to Las Vegas Lights with Pablo Cruz. So it goes to show you, man, like Eric Wynalda has taken care. Like there's coaches out there that, you know, have extended that opportunity time after time for players. Like, you know, for those players that are not the most top recruited or the most well known, but he's sticking true to those players that, you know, deserve opportunities, that deserve the same opportunities these college players deserve. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I think with Ronaldo, he was just always pushing for us. I mean, he saw what we could do when we barely had any experience. He saw what we were getting experience. Now that we have all that experience, he still sees it, and he's like, I'm gonna keep bringing the same guys because I'm gonna get the same out of them. You know, some players get so up here and then they forget that, you know, they started down here. Now they just don't want to perform. They just want the money. You know, with us, it was just, I'm going to bust my ass and I'm going to get paid after. That's always been our way of thinking, because if we fell in love with the money, who knows where we'd be. We probably had 1 year and nobody
so that loyalty is important. You know, I feel like when it comes to money, I mean, when it comes to like loyalty, I feel like, you know, when you've been through so much and you've had that Open Cup run and, you know, you played here and now you're playing here. So like at the end of the day, it's business, it's professional, but it just gives you that sense of family, of pushing, you know, sticking together, and not just like, you know, when you put money. I feel like one of the aspects that, you know, can fuck up a team or fuck up a locker room is an ego. You know, somebody's just like kind of just there for the stats and wants to just perform for them because they want to get a bigger check. You know, so I feel like when you have a sense of a family, like, you know, I feel like you, Pablo, Eric Wynalda have, like, it shows that, you know, careers can flourish together, you know, and everyone can eat and everyone can be taken care of. So, like I said, like, you know, I've been a fan, you know, looking to your career, looking the career of Pablo Cruz and Eric Wynalda, and I'm just like, that's proof that, you know, that there is talent. You know, we don't have to rely on the college system or rely on the club's youth system to you know, to elect the talent that we need to elevate the game of soccer in our country. So How was that? How was this time, playing in Las Vegas, playing under him, playing with Pablo? How'd you like that experience?
It was good. I mean, it was a little different going
Yeah.
into the season just because I was telling you earlier about the whole accident.
Yeah, you had an accent. You mentioned
I didn't. My whole left side was like beat up, bruised up, scratched up, swollen, and everybody that knows me knows I'm a lefty.
Yeah, man.
So for me, it's like my left has brought me joy, money, travels, friends, friendships, everything. If I can't do anything with this,
Yeah.
I'm done. And I was able to start walking again. And then when Wynalda says, "Can you walk? Can you run? Can you jog? Anything?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm barely starting." So yeah, I was supposed to sign already, and then that happened. So he brings me into preseason, overweight. I was struggling.
Yeah.
He says, "Go back home, get yourself going again, get yourself fit, and I'll call you back." So he finally calls me again for the Open Cup. He's like, "I'm signing you now. You know the Open Cup run is what you're known for.
Yeah.
People know you because of that from the KFC." And then as soon as I started playing, I fell in love with soccer again. The fans.
Yeah.
I get to play with a childhood friend like Pablo. I get to play for under Eric Wynalda. I had a lot of people that I already knew.
Yeah.
So it was just more so like a family that I was playing with.
Especially after an accident.
Yeah, and for me it was just soccer. I wanted to play, I wanted to enjoy it, forget what I did.
Yeah.
So I started getting myself back into it, and then, I mean, Wynalda, I don't know how, but he had that trust and belief in me that once you're fit,
You can do anything.
you can do anything. You're going to show in this league, and that's how it started with me. I mean, I wasn't expecting much just because I didn't know how my body was going to react.
Yeah.
But luckily, I was fighting through, and then, I had a good year with Lights.
Man, that's crazy, bro. Because like I said, bro, like the reason why I wanted to talk to you is just not only because you're from California and I mean from Pasadena, which is my hometown, but it's just like your journey, bro. Nothing has been handed to you. Nothing has, everything has been working for, and like things like your talent. I feel like even throughout this podcast, we haven't talked about how good you were, bro. How deadly you are with that left, where you can, have the speed, you can ping it anywhere, and I feel like that's the kind of player that you're not a robotic, systematic player. You play the way you want to play. If you want to dribble, you dribble. If you take space. If you want to shoot, it's just like that's a different sauce that you have. I feel like those are the players that Pasadena produces.
Yeah.
That we're not your typical like tell us what to do. Long bars, like we're gonna do it our own saucy way. Like you're pretty big, I'm pretty big. There's Pablo that's small. We all come in different sizes, and it's like if you give us the opportunity, we're gonna execute, bro. So I know that not only is your career amazing and a success, but like the fact that the way you've gotten it out the mud, and the fact that like accident, injuries, politics, you're still doing it till this day. You're still playing with KFC. You're about to go to Chicago for the Final Four of $30,000 on the line. There's talent. There's a lot to play for there, and bro, like man, it shows you that. Bro, soccer is a language. So you're fluent in soccer. So like that's what has kept you close to the game. And bro, I'm proud of you. There's so much more that we could have talked about and stuff like that. But we've been going on for like almost 2 hours. But I kind of just want to close it out and just give you your flowers, bro, and tell you that, bro, you're a fucking baller. You're a Pasadena legend, bro. I'm proud to say you're from Pasadena. I'm proud to say that I'm interviewing you. So it's been a fucking pleasure, my G. And we're gonna close it out, but I'm gonna ask you just a few questions about where do you think soccer in America is going the next 5 years, bro? How do you feel about it?
I mean, I feel like it's heading the right way. I mean, it took a while to kind of see the progress.
Yeah.
Because we saw it a little bit and then it stopped and we saw it a little. But I feel like now it's a more consistent thing. We're starting to realize like we have something in the future and we have a mindset of how to go about it.
Yeah.
And I think by the next World Cup, I mean, believe it or not, I feel like quarters, semis.
Yeah, those are doable. I don't think it's too far-fetched to think, clearly we didn't make the last one, the next World Cup's next year, so we have to qualify for that. But I really think that with the group that we have now, with the Pulisic, the McKennies, the Adams, I don't think it's far-fetched to think that we're gonna get to the knockout stage. When we get through that knockout stage, bro, we keep growing the MLS. Because if you look at the MLS in the last 25 years, bro, we've gone from 10 teams to fucking 27. So like, you know, La Liga's 150 years old. No, EPL's 150. La Liga's 100. We're only 25 years. So like, give us. I don't even want to say 10 or 15 years, bro. Give us 5 years.
I said 5. I even said by the next World Cup. Their core is like in their mid-20s.
Yeah.
Balling.
And I really think that, you know, like 5 years ago, I couldn't tell you how many players played in the Champions, and now we have 10s, bro. So I really think it's promising. I really think that, you know, it's not. I'm not just saying that because I'm a soccer fan, but it's you. You've played in the league. You've seen the level, and you know, everyone that I talk to has an optimistic, sense of you know, of what soccer is going to be for the next 5 years. So I agree with you. I agree that, by next not this World Cup, but the next World Cup 2026, when it comes here, bro, I really think that, if we don't win it, we're definitely going to be in the top 4.
Yeah. I mean, I just feel for our youth, I think it's crazy to say, but I feel like ODP should be a stepping stone to get back into what it is. Cause
facts, bro. And I gotta do my homework and my research on whatever happened to ODP, because I remember it was club, it was ODP pool, regional pool, national pool. So like, we need something again like that, bro. And I really think that U.S. Soccer Federation and the MLS have to take initiative to put it into the public schools. That way we have everyone under a district. That way, you know, we can keep, like, for example, Pasadena, bro, think about it. If Blair had a team, Marshall had a team, John Muir had a team, there's middle schools that'll feed into that, and there's elementaries that'll feed into that. And then, like, if whatever district is good, those kids are on the state team, and those kids are on the regional team. And it has to be like a feeding system, you know. And I feel like, you know, it's not gonna happen overnight, but I feel like there's people like me and you who believe, not only love the fucking sport and love American soccer, but we also believe that we can do it, bro. And it's like, we're not too far behind from the Spains and from the Euros. We saw the last Euro Cups, bro. Like, I don't think the next World Cup is gonna be a winner from Europe. It's gonna come from South America, bro. And the game is evolving. The game is changing. America's always gonna be athletic. America's always gonna be fit. So it's us finding a really identity, a sauce, and putting a well system together, bro. And I feel after that, it's gonna be smooth sailing for generations to come, for our kids to come, for our kids' to come. You know. So at this point, I'm just happy me and you were, you know, able to benefit from soccer, bro. Because I'm not gonna lie, bro. Like, I've been blessed with opportunity through education, through system, through friendship, and it's all because of soccer. But we also have capitalized it, bro. And I feel like that's one thing that, you know, why we benefit, because we capitalize on opportunity. But first and foremost, we were given that opportunity. So my job, my goal for this platform, bro, is to keep providing information so we can provide opportunity for the next generation, my G.
Yes, sir.
So with that being said, though, bro, we're gonna wrap it up. A lot of information was covered. A lot of memories, you know, a lot of good memories definitely were documented. And again, bro, thank you. And like I said, like, bro, I look to, you know, keep growing our friendship in the future and just keep elevating this game of soccer together.
Let's do it.
My dog, peace out.